So this is the apparatus that we use to actually test the air tightness, and this is called a blower door. And if we were actually running a test right now, what we'd be doing is that we would put this membrane, this red rectangle, in one of the doors. We would be making sure that all the other exterior doors and windows were closed, and then we would, this fan would be installed in the door and connected to a sensor, which was in turn connected to a computer. And we would turn this fan on, and that would create a slight pressure differential between inside and outside. And what this is meant to do is simulate the circumstances where a building might leak air. The metric is that we have to get at or below 0.6 air changes per hour. This building just tested last week at 0.33 air changes per hour. A conventional building, it's sort of all over the map, but buildings by and large are pretty leaky because in the past, we never thought about this. So we've measured buildings that were 10 or 15 air changes per hour. The state of California, the software that they use assumes 7 air changes per hour. But because air leaking out is taking with it a lot of energy, we're trying to drive it down to much less volume of air leaking. Another thing that's worth mentioning is this is primarily an energy measure, but air leaking through the building assemblies also has a significant impact on the healthfulness of the air inside. If in the example I mentioned, air is rising and the incoming air is coming from the bottom, then it's just kind of working its way in wherever it can find its way in. And that's typically going to be the crawl space, and it might be picking up dust or toxins or allergens as it's coming in. Whereas when the building is tight, and as we'll see in a minute, we're introducing air. That air is going through a filter, and it's coming in a place where we understand where it is and we understand that it's clean. Another important thing to mention here is that if air is migrating through, let's say, the walls, all air has some moisture in it, and as that air is working its way in, it might be leaving some of that moisture inside the wall. And if you ever walk into a house and you've immediately noticed sort of a musty or moldy smell, that's probably what's happening, and that is not good for the occupants, and it's certainly not good for the building, because that introduction of moisture oftentimes is going to lead to wood rot, which is what actually kills off a lot of buildings or gets them to the point where they're no longer usable.